If you're trying to become a full-time day trader just because you hate your job, you're already in danger. I quit my job, I trade full-time, and I know most of you guys are nowhere near ready. So my name is Brandon. I've been trading for 4 years, and 6 months ago, I quit my job to start trading full-time. And I didn't do this because of one good month I had. I didn't do this because of a 100k funded account that I just passed, but it's because I did the boring maths and the uncomfortable prep that you need to do before you jump into this. And I've watched dozens of traders do the opposite. They've passed their first funded account. They think that 100k FTMO account is going to make them rich. It's going to pay for all their bills. In reality, it doesn't. They lose it because of the pressure and they end up back at square one. And here's the biggest issue. You guys see full-time traders, you see how they live online, on Instagram, on TikTok, not the actual truth about what it's like to be a full-time trader. And you see yourself making decent amounts of money, especially on demo and some potentially funded accounts as well. And you type in how to become a full-time trader into YouTube and you feel like you are there, you are ready to go. But what you're actually typing in is how fast can I leave the job that I hate? And that mindset alone is why most traders fail. I was very lucky in regards to I liked my job. It was selling supercars in Dubai. I was here and I love cars. So when I chose to leave, it wasn't because I hated the job, but it was because I knew mathematically and probability wise that I was ready to do this full time. So here's a really common story. I bet you've seen it on TikTok, on Instagram. You've seen people do this where they've just passed their first 100k funded account. So they get excited, they think they could be making 5 to 10% per month, so 5 to 10k per month consistently. Then they have one bad week, they end up not following any of their rules, having no risk management, they overtrade and then they blow the account. So now they have no job, no funded account, potentially no savings, and they've got maximum pressure. And that pressure makes you trade like an idiot. I remember when I first went full time, I had about 400k in funding at that time and a decent live account as well. But in my first week, I blew 2 fundeds and I lost about 25% of my live account. Not because I didn't know how to trade, but it was because of the pressure. The pressure of having to pay your bills, pay your rent, live life just on trading. And that's so much more intense than it was when I was trading while having a job. And that's what a lot of people don't prepare for, because every loss feels so much heavier, every win feels bigger, but then every win feels like you want to get even more, so you get greedy, and then you have more capital at risk, you start losing more, and then you end up losing more money than gaining. From both, from losing and from winning. Because that pressure, which is hanging over you constantly, it's still here now, 6 months later. Yes, I've built a decent safety net, but the pressure is still there. I need to pay my rent, my car, my bills, my food, then going out if I need to, travel expenses, stuff like that I need to pay for just from trading. And you think that sounds easy when you're potentially making 5 to 10% a month whilst trading when you have a job or when you're at college, when you have some sort of security. But as soon as that security disappears, no matter how disciplined you say that you are, and no matter how much you think you can control your emotions, it will affect you. It might affect you loads. It might only affect you a little bit, but it will. I was very lucky. 2 weeks in, I realized I was fucking up badly. I managed to make that switch straight away, but a lot of people can't do that. So let's be adults here, because going full-time in trading is basically you starting your own business. So you need to work a lot of stuff out before you even think about going full-time. How much your outgoings are, if you have a credit card, if you have any debt, how much you need to pay off monthly. How much do you actually spend? And you've got to be realistic with yourself on food, petrol, phone payments, just anything small. You need to note this down. And I did the same thing. And for me, living out here in Dubai, it cost me around $5,000 of non-negotiable outgoings per month. That's rent, my car, food, travel expenses, insurance, phone bills. That is the amount that I need to be clearing each month within trading. And you guys need to work this out too for yourself. Yours might be more, yours might be less, but you need to have this worked out. So once you've worked that out, you need to have an honest talk with yourself and see if you're making over that amount consistently. Not just you've done it 1 month and you think you'll do it the next few months. No. You need to have at least like 3 to 6 months of consistent trading, easily clearing that amount of money that you need to get. And you need to do that without gambling. If you took a gambling trade the past month where you cleared that amount, you discount that month. You need to see what you're doing consistently as an average over a long period of time, because you want this to work. You want this to be your life. You don't want it to be your life for a month, 2 months, and you blow everything. You want this to be your life consistently. So you need to make sure that you are earning enough consistently just to cover your basics. And I get it, probably a lot of you guys, you're probably living at college where you have very low expenses, or living with your parents where you basically have none. And if that's the case, brilliant, good. You've got a head start on a lot of people, but you also have to be realistic with this. You need to be making enough where, in 6 to 12 months time, you can move out of your parents' house. You can pay your way. You can pay for food. You can pay for all your bills and not just be a slob, not just sitting there wasting their money, wasting their time, and wasting your time. With very low expenses, you can't waste that opportunity. You really can't. So before you decide, I'm going to quit my job, you need a bit of a checklist just to make sure you've got these things in order before you end up quitting your job. So you need at least 3 to 6 months of living expenses saved up. And that's not living expenses if you live to every single penny. That's like comfortable living expenses. You need that saved. You need at least 2 funded accounts, I would say, or a decent live account. And obviously they're all relative to yourself. When I quit, I had 200k FTMO accounts, which I've taken consistent payouts from, plus a decent live account as well that I could trade. Obviously everyone's relative. For you, it could be 250Ks and no live account, but you need almost enough capital where you're comfortable you can easily make your amount that you need to make without over risking. And like I said before, you need 3 to 6 months of consistent results. This isn't just gambling trades. This is consistently overcoming the amount that you need, but all 3 months either gradually going up or flatlining at the same level. Not one small, one huge, and then another small, and you average them out. No, you're gambling. They need to be consistent months. And point 4 on the checklist, you need a proven strategy that you aren't going to change every single week. This is super important. You guys know that I don't really go much into strategy stuff, but you need to have trust in your strategy. You can't be switching up your strategies when you're trying to earn money for real, when you're trying to earn money to live with. You can't be changing stuff. It needs to work already, and you need to have proven results with it. And obviously, if you've had 3 to 6 months consistent results, hopefully you've had consistent proven results with the strategy that you're using as well. And the 5th one, you need to be on top of your emotional control. This is the hardest one. It really, really is, because a lot of people don't speak about it, but the pressure when you go full time is insane. You think it's stressful just trading normally as it is now. When you do it full time, it gets higher, so much higher. Because you can't be sitting there one day, have a losing trade, revenge trade, and then spiral out of control and blow all your accounts. Because then what? Now you've got nothing. And you need to start basically all over again. So you need to have your emotional control down to a T. And here's the truth. There is no perfect time. I know I've been going on about being very disciplined and structured with almost leaving with what you need, but there's never a perfect time. When I left, I had all these kind of checklist points ticked, but I didn't have the balls to leave. But you just need to take that jump once those parts of your checklist have been done and just do it. Like, that's the best advice I can say, is just do it, take action, but don't be an idiot. Because if you're just going to be an idiot, if you just want to rush into this too quick, you're going to blow it. You're going to end up in your job and you're just going to work backwards. You need to be constantly pushing forwards. And it will never feel right when you leave your job. Because I remember the first day where I quit my job, next day, woke up and I was like, because I quit on like a Wednesday. So like on the Thursday, I woke up and it was like, right, now I've got to do this full time. Now I need to make money. But once you're sat there, you're in front of your laptop, in front on your desk, and you click that first trade, and say it hits your take profit for your first trade, which would be brilliant, in 5 minutes, 15 minutes, an hour, depending how you trade, but quickly. Now what do you do for the rest of your day? You would almost think to trade again, to make more money, to get up to your kind of target as quickly as possible. But that really isn't the case. You need to be able to close your laptop and then just start working on something else. Like for me, that's why I started YouTube. That's why I started Instagram and TikTok, is because when I started doing it full time, I had hours throughout my day where I was literally doing nothing. And instead of just sitting on my sofa or just doing nothing, I thought I'd make content about trading and to help you guys. So you guys will need to find something to do as well. Because I promise, full-time trading isn't all fun. It's stressful and it's actually really boring. Like for me, I haven't taken a trade today and it's 3:30. I probably won't take a trade for today. So today I'm literally doing nothing. So you need to, you need to have something else going on, hopefully to do with trading, but not risking capital. And you need to be emotional, and you need to have that emotional control where you know you're not going to overtrade, because that's just how you lose. So obviously there's those checklist points I mentioned earlier, but these are kind of the reasons which I would say when it makes sense to quit. So you can quit when your trading income is overtaking your income from your job. And I can tell you, it feels amazing when that starts to happen. It happened to me for like 6 months. I was making way more in trading than I was actually working in my job. And it feels brilliant. Another point is you're bored of consistency, but winning doesn't get you excited. That means you've got your discipline, you've got your consistency down, and it means you've got a lot of self-trust in your system and yourself to walk away. Thirdly, losing days don't change your behavior. This is an easy one. This is how you should be trading now. More importantly, when you do it full time. So you need to have that sorted. And the fourth one is you need to have enough funds to survive 3 to 4 months if it all goes wrong. If you're having a bad month, you need to have the money saved up where you can pay for your outgoings, where you can pay for your bills. You can reinvest into another funded account. You can top up your live account. You need to be prepared for these because it will happen at one point. Everyone's gonna blow a funded account. You're gonna blow your 100K funded account if you have one. Of course you are. They're not built for longevity, but they're built to get the money and put it into your live account. So you need to be able to cover at least 3 months financially if you earn zero, or if you actually need to pay out for things as well. So trading full time, it is freedom. I can do what I want, I can go where I want, and I'm literally free. No one tells me what to do. But you need to have discipline, you need to be consistent, and you need to forward plan everything. If you don't do this, when you do it full time, the pressure will be way too insane, you wouldn't be able to handle it, and you will fail. And that is just the harsh truth. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please feel free to like and subscribe. I also have a completely free to join Telegram group called The Trader's Mind, just about trading psychology and risk management. I've also put the links down to XNES and FTMO, who are the live broker and the prop firm that I use for most of my trading. So if you want to jump onto any of those, feel free to click the links in the description. And once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon in the next video.